Sup? It's Greggatron. How are y'all? This, 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 this. Look at it. Yeah. Yeah. Look at it. This. Yeah. 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 This is Do you like my shirt? Yeah. Powered by steel. Yeah. This shirt was a gift from a lady who I worked for. A special woman. Alright. Today's video, I'm talking about this. Yeah. But not necessarily this. But the new one. Alright. The new Final Destination, it's called Bloodlines. It came out this year. And I really liked it for several reasons. For one, it stayed true to these 5. 2, I liked it because you don't need to watch these 5 to have an understanding. You can enjoy it either way. 3, I like the characters. 4, I like how they underwent the plot / story. I like this movie for a lot of reasons. Now, where do I begin, right? It's really good because it's not necessarily the same format or formula as these 5. It is, but it isn't at the same time, right? This movie, Bloodlines, is special and unique in its own way because it's not just about the people who should have died from the premonition. It's called Bloodlines, right? So it's about a whole family. That's what makes this different. Because one person or a group of people isn't just being hunted by death. It's a whole group of people and that group of people's family, which makes it different in that sense. Now, in the beginning, and I'm not going to spoil anything, in the beginning, there's a dream that happens, and the person who had the dream is trying to prevent that from happening. And, well, I don't want to say that. If I say that, I will spoil stuff. Anyway, the premise of this movie is there's a girl who's having a dream. Sorry. And she's dreaming about something that happened a long time ago to one of her family members. Get it? Bloodlines. And she's trying to understand, like, why am I having these dreams? Well, she finds out these aren't just dreams. This was the dream your grandmother had. So that's what it's all about. And I like it because it's kind of family oriented. It's about the girl's grandmother, her mother, her siblings. Basically, the grandma changed something that should have happened. And I can pretty much say that because y'all know what Final Destination is. The grandma the grandma changed something that should have happened to where it didn't happen and now death is coming for what it is owed. So the premise of that is really interesting. The girl's relationship with her grandma, her mom, her dad. I kind of like it because it's about a big family, and the main character, she wants to have an understanding, not just for her grandma's sake, but she wants to have an understanding so these dreams will stop. Well, a lot of her family members think she's crazy, the grandma that is. Now they're starting to think she might be crazy, but the grandma might be onto something here. The grandma might know something that we don't know. And I thought it was interesting how the grandma had wrote her own book, or she made her own book as to how to dodge death, how to stay safe away from death. So she's got this nice, cool, not nice, but she's got this crazy, it's not a bunker, it's more of a cabin in the middle of nowhere to protect herself from death. Now, in this book, I thought it was fascinating how you see images of incidences from these movies. And it was even cool, they even brought up a couple names from one or two of the old movies. As far as the book goes, you could see, I think this was the second movie, where there was that truck with a long bed with all the logs in the back. Remember that, when they spill over on the highway and it's a mess and all those people allegedly die on the highway. Remember that? I think that was the second movie. I think the first one was about the airplane, the airport. The third one is probably my favorite. It's about the amusement park. That's the general theme. But it was cool how they kind of remind you what happened in some of these other movies. Not that you really needed to know, but it was still cool that they stayed true. Also, I like how it felt kind of cheesy and corny on purpose. It was a reminder that this is still Final Destination. It was a reminder that, yes, it's horror, but it can have a awkward sense of cheesiness between the characters, and not just the characters, but death itself. Because in these movies, people die in the craziest, most bizarre ways, unexpected ways, ways you wouldn't think of. And Bloodlines is no stranger when it comes to that either. Bloodlines, you're like, wow, really? It's like you know someone might die, you just don't know how. But the execution is like, yo, hell to the nah. So I like the cheesiness as far as death and how the characters, the family members, behave and interact with each other. That's pretty cool. You see an old character from one of the old movies, or yeah, I'll put it that way, not to spoil anything, but shout out to that character who we all know and love. I really like this. It was good. Very refreshing. We'll put it that way. It felt true, yet new at the same time. And I remember Final Destination 5 kind of reset back to the first one, if my memory serves me well. So the beauty about these movies is you can kind of go in whichever direction you want, because anybody can kind of cheat death, and then death will want to come back for you. But I really like the research aspect from the grandma. That was cool. I like the family aspect. How they were kind of trying to stay close and protect each other. And let me say this. It's rated R. So, like, if you have a 10-year-old or less, I wouldn't let that kid watch it. But 12, 13, 14, they can probably watch it. It's horror, but it's like it's fun at the same time. Like, it's not like Freddy and Jason where there's a humanoid person chasing people. No, it's a force. So it's like, yeah, it's violent, it's ridiculous, but it's not like unbearable. That's why I like Final Destination, because it's unique. It's not a bunch of people being chased by an axe murderer. It's people trying to stay safe from a force of nature. That force being death. So, yes, it's rated R, but it's like the most family-oriented rated R movie ever. So it's not a family movie, but it is at the same time. Because it's about a family, right? And the way they behave, the more they find out, the more they learn. The way the characters kind of bounce off of each other is kind of priceless. You know, the acting's cool, but I'm cool with it being cheesy. Because I really kind of needed that lightheartedness. Because that's just how the series kind of is. And a lot of horror movies are just so dark and horrific and just brutal and just disgusting gore. Whereas, like, you'll kind of chuckle watching this movie. And all these movies, to be honest. Because it's just so ridiculous. And I also like the Rube Goldberg aspect of it, how one thing leads to another as far as the deaths goes. A lot in here is unexpected. You think you kind of know how this person or that person might die, and you're like, oh crap, you know. But as far as this goes, you can find all these on HBO Max. Alright, I got this about a year ago from Walmart. And I've only watched them once, to be honest. But I remember them being on FX all the time when I was a kid. And I remember the previews for these movies. It was a pretty popular thing. I think the first one came out in 2000. Something like that. And yes, they're all rated R. So, if you have kids, be careful what you show your kids. They're all there, stacked on top of each other. But, what would I give Bloodlines? I don't really know if I could rate Bloodlines. I just know it was very enjoyable. Very rewatchable. Bloodlines is good in the sense that... Oh, okay, it's 3 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So Bloodlines is good in the sense that you could call it a soft reboot, but you don't even need to do that. Like, this is kind of cool because it's the proof that you can kind of go in any which direction with these movies. It's not necessarily something serious to where it has to be consecutive like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or something. Bloodlines is the proof that they can do anything at this point. It's just fun horror. And one might say there's no such thing as fun horror. I'm using the word fun, but it's not. There's nothing fun about death. But just But just the way they go about dodging it or trying to prevent it or what have you, it's only fun because the characters make it funny to watch. Because the way they act is so ridiculous. But that takes me back to like the 2010s or even the earlier 2000s. So I'm glad it felt cheesy and corny and fun. Now, the people living in that universe, they don't think it's fun at all. But yeah, I enjoy this franchise. I don't take it too seriously. I don't go around calling it the best thing ever. I just know that it's fun and I like it. It's enjoyable. It's something really good you can watch with your friends and family. Minus the kids sometimes. But it's just something nice to have in your collection. Especially if you like horror. Alright. It's not a comedy, but you will get a chuckle. Maybe that's just my sick, twisted mind. They want you to chuckle. They want you to get a laugh. Because it's so ridiculous. You know. And you'll be surprised. So, there's that. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And peace.